And we're back with the Screen Team. It's a brand new edition of the show for you this evening on today's Talk 930 KWOC, also on the FM side at 93.3, and you can stream us at KWOC.com. I'm being joined by a very, very new member, a baby to the Screen Team. We've got Ross. Ross, how are you this evening?
I'm fine. Thank you, Chris.
Dude, I love having you on the show because you have decided that you want to do a John Wayne theme show, right?
The Duke, yes.
Why, out of all the actors, why John Wayne?
I don't know. I did a little bit of acting in high school and, in my career a little bit.
Really?
And he always fascinated me because of what people thought of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Duke, the big guy, the Marine that conquers everything.
Yeah.
But if you notice in several of his movies, he's an actor. And he shows different emotions, different, body languages, facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, a lot of people forgot, that, he's an American icon and, a super patriot and all that. But he was also a man who is portraying a character in many different ways.
And he has a really good range, too,
He does. He did some comedy. And, there's always the He-Man drama thing, but if you notice some of the things he did with Maureen O'Hara, he got pretty romantic, too.
Yes, he did. Coming up later in the show, we're going to review a couple of those Maureen O'Hara and John Wayne films, The Quiet Man and also McClintock, but our first film is In Harm's Way. Tell us, why did you pick this one?
Okay, it shows a lot of different characters throughout the movie. And, like in the beginning, they had the attack on Pearl Harbor, and he was the captain of this big, war vessel. And they said, well, you got to stay out there. You're going to run out of gas. Too bad. And he broke the rules.
Yeah.
He disobeyed the orders because it was the right thing to do, and he got busted.
Which I was really surprised by that because, usually when at night, I'm not a John Wayne expert, so I don't know 100%, but you get the idea that John Wayne does the right thing all the time and he never gets in trouble for it kind of thing. And in this particular film, he gets in trouble and he gets demoted after it happens.
Yeah. And then a little bit later on, he gets promoted to admiral, and he's given this huge job that this other admiral apparently wasn't doing. And so that showed another thing about the usual John Wayne we always knew about. You're going to go in there, take charge, and kick butt.
That's right. And that's why this is such a good movie. And it's a good movie, too, because not just with John Wayne, but there's so many other good actors in this film as well. You got Kirk Douglas.
Yeah.
Henry Fonda,
yeah,
I believe, is in it as well.
Patricia Neal.
Yeah.
And see, that showed another thing. He fell in love with Patricia Neal. And if you noticed the scenes with them, he was always softer. He would come from the office or come from the battleship or come from the battle, and he'd be, all right, we just kicked butt or we're going to, and, oh, hi, honey. And he would just soften up.
Yeah.
Brandon DeWilde was his son. There's different facial expressions and body language in his relationship with a son he didn't know. So if you watch it from the beginning to end, I mean, he goes through a pretty wide range of emotions and a big emotional spectrum.
Well, what I liked about this movie? I liked the fact that the cinematography was beautiful. I'm assuming that it was shot in Pearl Harbor or at least in Hawaii, but some of the scenery and the ships that they used in this film were just magnificent. It was beautiful. I don't know if they were actually really using a lot of ships or they were models or whatever, but just a lot of the battle scenes were well done, and cinematography was beautiful in this film.
And the ending, and I forgot the director's name.
Let me see if I can find it for you.
They don't end it with something nice and pleasant. It's all explosions.
Yeah.
They're blowing the whole world up. And that, to me, was kind of interesting because I thought, where the heck did that come from?
The director's name was Otto Preminger.
Yeah. And he was one of the best in history. So when they got together, It's like you said, the cinematography and the camera angles and how they shot it and where they shot it was very unique for the time.
This was like one of the last black and white epic war films that was released when it came out. And I'm curious your thoughts on Kirk Douglas's character, because he plays a very interesting character in the fact that he has an estranged wife who fools around on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't seem to have any kind of motivation with the Navy or whatever he's doing unless John Wayne is, by his side or commanding him and stuff like that. What did you think about Kirk Douglas's character?
I thought it was interesting because of all the characters that Kirk Douglas had portrayed. He was usually the leading man, okay? And, somewhat of an icon also. In this, he was kind of a boozed-up loser.
Yes, he was.
Until John Wayne said, "Get off your butt or I'll kick your ass out."
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I was kind of shocked by this scene. There was a scene where Kirk Douglas basically sexually assaults one of the like John Wayne's son's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that. Were you shocked by that, or was it just? What did
shocked
you think?
Isn't even a word.
Because that's Kirk Douglas. I mean, that's...
Well, yeah, but check out the date, the time that film came out.
Yeah.
You didn't do that. And to have, at the time, a superstar, Kirk Douglas, to do that, he's a boozed up loser, and then he all of a sudden does this because who knows why.
Yeah.
But no, it was, that really shocked me. I really wasn't too pleased with that because I didn't think it fit the rest of the film.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting point. I was like, wow, Kirk Douglas is the man. Come on.
Yeah.
So, if someone hasn't seen this film, if someone is a John Wayne fan but hasn't seen this film, do you recommend it to them?
Yeah, I do. It's a good, it's a good World War II movie, which I love anyway. But it's, it shows, his patriotism and his range. And it was a good story. Historically, it was correct. He started at Pearl Harbor and then it went island hopping in the South Pacific. And I think it would be an enjoyable film for people who enjoy John Wayne and the John Wayne war films.
Cool.
This time he wasn't a Marine charging up the beach. He was in many different, occupations in the Navy.
Yeah.
He went from being a captain to an admiral to, breaking the rules, which he doesn't do, to getting promoted to be given a really huge job and succeeding it, but doing it by using his people.
Right.
Okay. And he always... in the movie, he seemed to have a good judgment of character and to be able to delegate the work, okay? And use his people, but, be a strong leader, but not abuse, the people under him, which to me is John Wayne.
Good stuff. It's called In Harm's Way. You can find it on DVD. Coming up after the break, we're going to review McClintock. It's next on Today's Talk, KWOC.